All right, hello and welcome back. If you were here during my last video when I was talking about how to make my easy hillbilly wine, I did promise to show you how I guess decant it or bottle it or whatever it is you want to call it. Basically, I fill up a mason jar, and as you can see, this is how I like to do it. I have just your standard coffee filter. I pushed the coffee filter down into the mason jar, put the ring on to hold it, and I just pour it right on through. I usually take this up to about 800 milliliters, and that's where I stop, and I'll show you how I seal it off too. With one of these 96-ounce jugs, you can get about 2.5 jars out of it, and this one's I'm gonna put just a little bit more. Now what's going to happen, you're going to have some that is still stagnated in there. I'll just throw that away, and then I will show you how I seal it. Now, as I said, we're going to get about 2.5 jars out of this. So I want to start talking about the cost. I've gotten some questions about the cost, and I know that's an important part of it. We don't want to spend too much. Like I said, if we can just go and pay $5 and get a bottle of wine, why go through all this? But there's a lot more to it. And so far, a jug like this, I looked this up today. It is the end of August, or the end of July 2024, and these are Wal-Mart prices for a jug of Welches 96-ounce family size is $6.88. Now, you have two options on your sugar, depending on how much you're planning on using this. You can get a pound of sugar, a pound of Domino sugar, for $1.72. Okay, you're gonna see here when I pull this up, there's still some in there, and I can kind of squeeze that in. So I'm going just a little over 800 milliliters. So we know that a fifth is 750. So there's one good solid bottle of wine right there. All right, now I want to dry this off, because now I want to seal it. I want to make it airtight. Now this is optional. All of this is optional, of course. You can just, if you've got room in your refrigerator for a big jug like that, well, you can just kind of be careful pouring into your cup or glass, or you can be a little more bougie like me. I guess I can be a bougie hillbilly. So here we go. Whoops. We'll put my lid on. Now this right here is a mason jar vacuum sealer. Now I don't just use this for the wine. I make my own refrigerator pickles. I dehydrate tomatoes and other vegetables, and when I put them in the jars, I use it for that, for the canning process, for my garden, and anything else I might need. I also make herbal remedies that I use this on, but this seems to work out perfect for making wine as well. It gets all the air out of it, and like I said, I can be a bougie hillbilly now. And then you just press the top of it, and you might see it making some bubbles or something. But yeah, there we go. See the little bubbles there forming up. Just pulling all that out. I'll let that go for about 45 seconds. And let me get back to the pricing. So we had $6.88 for the jug. We've got $1.72 for a pound of sugar, or you can pay $3.14 for 4 pounds of great value sugar, which that's what I do. It's the easiest way to do it. Plus you have plenty more. And we're just going to call this a day. And it just pulls right off, and you see that is beautifully done. Just kind of wipe this off. There we go, and I'll put the date on it when I put it in the refrigerator. But there we go. There's over a bottle of wine right there, and I'll get, like I said, about another one of those and a half out of this jug. So let's go on back into the before I start this other one, and I'm not gonna keep this video going. I'm not gonna torture you by letting you watch this mess, because we're going to stop once we talk about the cost. So we've got, and as far as yeast goes, where am I at? $6.88, $1.72, or $3.14. And I'm going to put all of this in the description, so don't worry about trying to write it down real quick or whatever. It'll be in there. For the wine yeast that I use, it's super aggressive, so be ready. You're only going to need 1/3 of one of these packs. So think about this when I tell you the cost and how many packs you get. You're going to get times 3 that using it just to make this type of wine. So we're looking at $9.99 on Amazon for 10 packs of EC 1118 winemaker's yeast. So that's definitely what I would choose, because it's really super aggressive, and from what I've seen and what everyone had said, that it's probably one of the best if you want some high alcohol content. So, and I've noticed the difference in the wine that I've made with it compared to the other ones. Or you can just go the cheap route and get the 3-pack of great value bread yeast. It will work. Do not be deceived. It's not going to be that bad if you use this. It's what I started with, the 3-pack great value bread yeast, $1.14 for 3-pack. Now let's go back to the cost again. I looked up a bottle of wine. The cheapest wine that I could find was a Oak Leaf Cabernet, and it sits at about 13%, and it's $4.99 for a fifth for 750 liters. So now the question is, well, how does this going to compare? If I can just pay $5, this is $6.88. I can pay, way less and just get me a bottle of wine and forget about it. That is true for one bottle of wine at 13%. I looked up on Google this is according to Google AI, the alcohol by volume range for homemade juice wine. This isn't the wine that you'll distill and go through all the fancy schmancy stuff that you'll also see here on YouTube. This is just your, hillbilly hooch, grape juice and sugar and yeast. The alcohol by volume range for this can go anywhere between 10.5% to 13%, which is equal to that $5.99 bottle. Plus, you're getting over 2.5 bottles for your $6.88 and your little bit of trouble. So bear that in mind. So I went ahead and added up. If you wanted to go the total cheap route, you just wanted to go the bottle of juice, the 1 pound bag of sugar, and the bread yeast, it's going to cost you a total of $9.74. And then, get that you're going to get 2.5 5/5, actually over that, out of that $9.74. So now your $4.99, isn't such a deal, when you can pull that off. Now here's where the deal can seem like it's not so much of a deal if you go the more quote-unquote expensive route. But remember, again, I'm getting a 4-pound bag of sugar. I'm going to be using that longer than the 1 pound, and I'm going to have 30 servings, I guess you could call it, out of my 10-pack of better wine yeast. And if I go that route, it's going to cost me $20.01. So we'll just round it down to 20, and we'll just round the other one just up to 10. So there's the difference. There's the price. So my deal is I'm gonna pay more for the sugar because I'm gonna use the sugar in other places too, and I always have it if I want to make more of this. And the 10-pack of yeast, of course, is gonna last me quite a bit. So that's it, and there's kind of what it looks like with the coffee filter in there. These right here, like I said, I don't know what I can't remember what they cost me, maybe around 15-20 bucks. But I use this for more than just making wine. So if you don't want to go through that expense, you don't have to. It's not, in fact, you don't even have to go through this expense. That's another, but I'm going to be using these jars throughout the summer and the rest of the harvesting season anyway. So I have stacks of them, small and wide mouth. So anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. And also, if you came in here at this end of things, go back and look up my Hillbilly winemaking video, and I'll explain how I got to this point. And just remember, when you go back and you hear me and you see me putting the whole pack of yeast in, don't do that. Only use about 1/3 of it, especially on this EC 1118, the Lalvin winemaking yeast. It's very aggressive. It will foam up. You can see where it has on this bottle here. It's not, but it foams up really heavy, and it goes hard when it gets going. So now the bread making yeast and the other type of wine yeast I was using, I was able to just dump the whole thing in, and I never had a problem. This stuff, woo, yeah. And as far as drinkability, I'm not a big wine drinker other than what I'll make, but let me tell you, it tastes better than a lot of the stuff that I used to get in high school. So don't let it fool you, and don't let it fool you that you've had it sitting in a closet. This stuff will knock you down. Just be ready to feel it in the morning, though. Because you got the high sugar content in there, it's going to make you feel a little fuzzy in the morning, but it'll definitely make you feel fuzzy at night. So with that, I hope everyone has a good night. Like I said, if you have any questions, ask me down in the comments. If I can help you, I definitely will. And have a good one. Bye-bye.